you well and in good health and staying safe, and of course, staying home if you are in a country where you're being asked to. I am deeply honoured to welcome today the incredible Judy Cross. And we were talking a few minutes ago to say how long we've perhaps been in contact.
Yeah.
Years now. And
I know,
it just seems
amazing.
crazy how time does fly so much.
And that we can even say that we're in contact when we live, across the world from each other, and we can say that we've been in contact for all of this time. How wonderful is that?
I know, it's crazy how, if you just think, 10, 15, 20 years ago, things like this would just never have happened. You would either have had to have known the person to have had their contact details,
exactly.
or, you'd had
to be pen pals. We'd have to be pen pals.
Yeah.
I know.
And here we are now, where you can just go, let's talk to someone in Australia or Japan or the States, and just boom, you can do. And I think sometimes, I don't know how you feel with this, but I've certainly really thought about how we've been so spoiled. We have so much, and everything is so easy, and now all of a sudden, that's all stopped.
Absolutely. And suddenly we find ourselves disorientated, don't we? And yet we can still talk. We can still talk across the world.
Yes.
But yet we can't go outside. So, how weird is that? It feels like our world is just tilted, that you and I can be talking to each other, but we can't, but we should stay at home. And I'm saying that here in Australia, and you're saying that over there. So we're united in that, in a sense, aren't we? We're united in that.
We absolutely are. I think the dog thinks we're under it. It is, and she's probably seen a shadow of something walk past the door and is now in attack mode. We are under attack. And I kind of think, we are.
We are a little bit under attack, you're right.
We are, and, our enemy is invisible. We can't see it, but it's out there somewhere. And so here we are.
And we're under pressure, aren't we? So that's what we're talking about tonight. I guess it's about how we feel when we're under pressure. So, I guess perhaps
I'm going to let you talk.
So cute. That is so cute. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Yeah. So nice to see you all. So I am coming across from Australia to see you all today, and my background is hairdressing, so I started in the hairdressing industry. So I guess I'll give you a little insight of how I got to be sitting here on the computer today connecting to all of you. So I started hairdressing young, and I'm sure it was a little bit the same with you guys over there. We went out hard and fast. Here in Australia, we started hairdressing young. We went out and just got a job, any job. There was none of this, I need a gap year to find myself. You kind of just went out and got a job. And so that's how my career started. I grew up in small country towns, lots of pubs, lots of hairdressing salons. My dad was always at the pub, so I thought, I know what I'll do, I'll be a hairdresser. And so that's how the journey started. And so that was my career, and I had a wonderful career in hairdressing, and I spent 20 years in the room of hairdressing, becoming who I needed to be to take on the next big stage of my life, and that happens to be speaking. So now I have this wonderful opportunity to speak in all sorts of industries, including to success. And I always love to come home, and I love the hairdressing industry and everything it stands for. So I understand that we're under pressure, and my role here today in talking to all of you is not to talk about hairdressing, but to talk about how we are all doing faced with the challenges that we have right now, because we're under pressure. It's tough right now for all of us. We're facing something that is unknown. There is fear. We feel scared. And so I guess I wanted to come in and talk about, what that feels like, and how we do with what we do with that, and how we get through that, and how we relate that to where we've been and where we're going, and what strategies we can use. So for me, it's about owning that we're already there. So this is not the video that's comparing how worse off you are to me or the person down the road is to us. We all have a story about how bad it feels for us. But I think the point is for all of us is to say that this is now where we're at. However bad it feels for now where we're at, this is where we're at. And so let's own that. And what do we do from that? That's the thing now that we have to decide is, where do we go from here? Let us own where we are. And that doesn't mean being positive about where we go from here doesn't mean that we're denying where we are. But it's about saying, well, if I own it and say, well, we are where we are and this is it, then am empowered. I have power then to move forward from that, and I can own this space that I'm in, and I can choose how I see it and transform how I see it. So I can't change what's happening, but I can transform my attitude around what's happening and how I move forward. And I had some big lessons in this in my personal life, and I feel like that with our emotional fitness and our emotional and mental wellness, I feel like it's like a workout. Like, to stay strong physically, we need to work out our muscles or we get weak, And so to stay strong mentally and emotionally, we need to work out our muscles. And we're getting a big workout right now, but some of us have gone into the gym having never lifted a weight. And suddenly, we're trying to lift a 20-kilo weight, and it's heavy. And we're shaking and we're exhausted and we're wondering how on earth we can lift it. So it is huge. And I think others of us have had perhaps big emotional journeys or big things in our life, whether it's big business or personal, that we've had to overcome. So we've practiced lifting some weight. So we're maybe a little bit stronger, and so we feel like we're a little more resilient. But know that we've all got this. I think that is the thing with what we're going through right now, is that I was talking to Carolyn before, that we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
My story, Carolyn, that I went through losing my husband. My husband had a stroke when he was 42 years old. This is 11 years ago, and I woke up in the morning and my world was shattered. My world changed forever that morning, and I felt like I was pushed into a room that many of you may feel like you've been pushed into now, where it was unknown. Suddenly my economic health was gone. My economic security was taken away from me instantly. Suddenly the head of my family, the strong protector, was gone. Suddenly I was in this vulnerable position of I don't know how to do this. I had no practice for this. Nobody promised me this. No, I remember thinking when the ambulance took my husband away, you bring him back and you bring him back the way he was. This is not what I bought into. This is not what I meant. I was having a really nice life and I want it to stay. Well, you know what? Sometimes life hurts a little and sometimes it hurts a lot. And nobody promised us none of this. And that was my first lesson in knowing that we've got what it takes. It's hard. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean those weights are really hard to lift and that we're not shaky and we're exhausted and sometimes we think we can't do it. But we've got this, and we're faced with one of those moments now, one of those life-changing moments where it's affecting us personally, it's affecting us emotionally, and it's affecting us economically. And I hear you and I feel you. So, but we are all in this together. We're all in this together, and we've got this.
And it is about that. I feel at the moment one of the most important parts, it is about our mind's health. And I said to you before on air, I don't like using the word mental health because I think it just paints a picture and we start to sort of see it as that, if I'm having a mental health moment, then, I'm losing the plot, I'm not strong. Right. I'm useless and I've failed. And that's a very negative way to sort of focus. I like to use the word mind health because it is how we think that impacts how we feel. And right now, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And that is so true. And I think that there's a quote that says, and I can't remember who said it, so if anyone finds it, please post it, but we are not our thoughts, we are the thinker of our thoughts. And Marianne Williamson said we become much too okay with letting our thoughts wander. So we need to grab our thoughts. It's very easy when you're watching the media to get caught in the hysteria. That doesn't mean it's not big. It doesn't mean it's not, terrifying. It doesn't mean it's not a big crisis. It doesn't mean we're not denying it. It means we're choosing to own it and say that we could talk about for the next hour about how big it is, but it would not solve anything because we're all in it anyway. We could talk about what the government should or shouldn't be doing and what life should or shouldn't be doing, and we should have done this or we shouldn't have done that, but it doesn't change where we're in right now. To come from a place of strength means we say we are where we are. Now I get to choose how I process this. I get to choose how I see it. And right now we've all been sent to our houses, sent to our rooms, and we can take the time as a gift of self-reflection, a gift of saying, okay, if I am sitting here, I have to have time with myself. And that's the first place I always start. We've been taught, we've been given the greatest gift to go back and say, how's your relationship with yourself? Because out of all of this and where we all go from this will depend on where we're at in our relationship with ourselves, how much of this time we spend in the negative spiral and how much we choose to build ourselves up, to get to know ourselves again, to celebrate who we are, to get to know who we are when we're being squeezed by life. And life is squeezing us all now. Oh boy, are we getting squeezed? And when life squeezes us, it reveals us. And so we get a chance to sit in self-reflection and say, who do I want to be after all of this? What do I need to work on to get there? What are my thoughts saying to support me in doing that? So we can choose our thinking. And I learned this when my husband had a stroke. So my husband had a stroke when he was 42 years old. And I remember in those few weeks after he had his stroke, nobody could give me a date on a calendar. No doctor with all the consultations could give me a date when my husband would be better. When would he talk again? When would he walk again? When would he be the man that I married? When do I get to be happy again? And then, of course, what I realised is I get to be happy again when I choose to be, because there was no date on the calendar. Oh, there is no date when your husband is better. There is no date when he'll walk again and talk again. You get to choose when you want to be better with this. There is no date when this virus is done. There is no date when we are done with this. So we have to make a choice today and be empowered enough to decide who we are in this today. And that will depend how we rise up. That will see us through. So no one said we can't find happiness in amongst this. No one said we can't sit down and suddenly have these amazing creative ideas and all of this. Well, we will come back stronger. We have been given the gift of an opportunity if we want to see it like that. And that will be the choice that we make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I teach, and I've made a decision. I'm going to give one of the lessons away from my course, which is called the thinking checkup. And part of what I start with is that our thoughts, we all talk to ourselves, we all have internal conversations, but those conversations can get out of control and they can con us. They can make us believe that we're not good enough, that I'm ugly, that I'm useless, I'm just... everything is wrong. I can't do anything. This is all going to go wrong and it's a disaster. And I think right now there must be so many people in any industry, not just within the hair and beauty industry,
that's right,
everywhere, who are just in that head moment right now with the, I'm going to lose everything. This is going to be a disaster. I'm not going to pay
that's
bills.
right. And the mind goes out, oh my God, the virus is going to get us. Oh my God, we can't do it. Oh, we're going down. The human race is going. Oh, stop it.
And take control.
Breathe. And all I have got right now is now, this moment that I'm in. And that was what this taught me as well with my husband with his stroke. And then my husband passed away 4 years later. My son was diagnosed with autism. And I'm grateful for that time. And some of us will come out at the end and we will say we're grateful because that time taught me mindfulness. It taught me to be in the moment and to go deep into the moment, to do the depth of the moment, to do the width and the breadth of the moment, because you're not promised anything beyond the moment. And that's the truth of it. But it takes sometimes situations like this for us to really explore that and to really dive deep into that. So you quiet your thinking, you grab that crazy thinking, stop it. Julie, have you got a roof over your head today? Yes, you have. Have you got food in your fridge? Yes, you have. Have you got, so you just start from wherever you're at, wherever you can go, and you start going up. Are you well today? Have you got your health today? And let's start there. Yes, I do. And so, anything you can be grateful for, you just shift your thinking and you start your upward spiral. And once you get started, you'll find there are more and more things that you collect along the way. But this is a daily workout, it doesn't, and every day you do it. And that's what I learnt too with what I went through with my husband, is that, you practice that, and every time you get back up, you challenge your thinking. I'm feeling, because my husband then passed away, and so I was left these 2 little boys, and so you have this victim mentality. Why me? This isn't fair. But is this serving me to think like that? See, that's empowered thinking. Is this serving me? It's making me feel like a victim. Why me? Why me? Why us? This isn't fair. What is it called? Stop it, stop it, stop it. What am I grateful for? Let's be grateful, because I can tell you the things that we're scared of losing, there are a lot of other people in other countries that would be just grateful to have for a second. And so you grab that again, you focus on that, you lift your thinking. As you lift your thinking, your energy lifts. Every time you get up, you practice it, your muscles get stronger, your emotional muscles get stronger. And so that's empowered thinking in action. That's empowered thinking in action. You get stronger at it, you get better at it, and suddenly you're spending more time up the emotional scale. Suddenly your thinking is healthier. Your mental workout, you're getting strong. Those muscles are getting really strong now. And you're worth it. And I think that's the other thing, Carolyn, we talked about beforehand, is that you're worth getting back up for. And this is the thing that I think that now, internationally, our governments are fighting for us, and we've forgotten to fight for us. That's why they had to force us to stay inside, because we didn't do it voluntarily, because we forgot we were worth looking after our health for. So the government said, you aren't happy to look after your health, I'll make you look after your health. How crazy is that? Like, we were more concerned about our economic health. How am I going to earn money? Oh, but then the government's all said, and we're the same in Australia here, they're all saying, hang on, but if you don't have your life, what do you got? So we've been forced to start at the bottom again. You look at the, the hierarchy of needs. We're back at the bottom.
Yes.
We're looking after ourselves first. Yes.
Yes.
It's about
we are
you.
right at the bottom.
Right back at the bottom. And so it starts with the relationship with you. Who are you? Remember, you were this divine little miracle that was born into this world with nothing. So if you're on the economic brink at the moment, you came into this world with nothing. We were amazed by you. Everyone looks at a newborn baby and they're in awe, aren't they? You look at a newborn baby, go, oh my God, you're so beautiful. We see divine, we see perfection, we see unlimited potential. We act like we've never seen fingers and toes. Oh my God, look at their fingers. They're so beautiful. We see amazing. Everyone looked at you like that. They delighted in you. They called people to see you. And you arrived with nothing. And you were already good enough. And so anything we collect along the way is just the trimmings. When you over-identify in your stuff, what happens when you lose your stuff? First world countries are about to go through an economic crisis that will strip us bare, and we will come back to the relationship we have with ourselves. And that's what it's about, is who we are inside. The external stuff is all just the trimmings and the costume we get to walk around in. And so we are being stripped bare right now. We're brought back to that relationship we have with ourselves. It's about going back to that and loving yourself again, and knowing that you are always worth getting back up for, that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how, from an economic point of view, that we can't afford to have the best of everything anymore. We are always worthy of getting up for. We are always worth that.
Absolutely. And I know there must be so many people at the moment who, whether it be they've got to get on the phone because, I need to speak to these people and I've got to find the accountant and I need to get hold of the bank. And when is this stuff coming through from this wages? And I don't know how to do it. And then there's going to be perhaps this little person that's going to come up with that, Mom, can we go and play in the garden? And I would say,
and especially when we're all home. That's
grab those moments, because those
and
moments.
You'll wish you'll had them. Yeah, that's exactly right. When all of this is done, we're going to be so busy because it's going to take off with a bang, and we'll be so busy making it all happen again. And we'll be saying stuff like, do you remember when we had that gift of all that time? you know, where we just could have been in the moment. And, you know, this is one
Yeah.
of the things I did learn, Carol, I have to say, when I was in the midst of all of that, um, you know, trauma with my husband and my son with autism. I really learned exactly that I realised that the only time I was being stressed with my kids and being short with them was when my mind was somewhere else, was when my
Yeah.
mind was worrying about that work I had to do, or that phone call I had to make, or that quote I had to get in, or that submission I had to do. But when I brought myself back into the moment of where I was right now, there's a calm, peace and joy in that. There's and it's okay to do that. I feel like sometimes we've been coerced into thinking that if I'm doing that, I'm being irresponsible, or I'm not planning my future, or I'm not goal setting. So it doesn't mean you don't do all of that. You do all of that, but it's the moment we're in that brings us towards our goals. It's the moment we're in that creates our future. So if we're never in the moment we're in, we're missing out on those moments with our children, those precious moments, those moments of creativity where the universe wanted to put an idea into our heads. You know, when sometimes you're in the shower and you get the best idea, or you're just going for a walk and you get the best idea. That's because you've let yourself go free. You know, you've relaxed a little bit and you've allowed yourself to do that. And children allow you to do that if you let them. So that is exactly right. You know, we have this time now where, yeah, we're juggling all of that. We've got this concentrated time. Oh, take it as a gift, because we don't get it
Absolutely.
back. So
And
take
the
it
thing
as a
is,
gift and be in.
so many people, you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month ago, would never, like you say, would never have had that opportunity, because it would have
No,
been the right, get your shoes on, come on, out the door,
that's
let's
right.
go, let's
Yep,
go.
yep,
And the childminder's after school, and I'll be home by 6, 7 o'clock, and just in time to put you
yep,
to bed. But I had nothing with you during the day, and suddenly,
yep,
yeah, you know, kids can be hard work, but they can also be what gives us such
yep.
strength and
Oh,
power and
absolutely,
enjoyment. And
absolutely.
if we can
Yep,
take those moments rather than that, no, I'm doing something, you know,
yep.
go and play
Yeah,
with your
I'm sitting here
sister. And just,
worrying about the
yeah,
virus. Like, don't
my,
disturb me. I'm worrying about the
yeah,
virus. No,
my
and
head's
that's
going
everybody.
crazy.
That's right. And I don't want your tribe to think that I'm not under pressure here. I mean, I'm a speaker. Everything I had in my diary for the next 7 months is gone. You know, so financially, I'm under pressure here too, like all of us. I've got no income right now. And so that doesn't mean I'm not getting stressed out. It doesn't mean I'm having moments where my thinking is taking me like this, but it's the ability to grab it and go,
Yes,
how does it serve me? And I think this is a powerful question to ask yourself when you're about to spin out of control with your thinking. Not, is it right or wrong? Because there's no right or wrong. It's, is it serving me to think like this? Does it serve me? How does it help the world? How does it help me to be thinking like this? And if it's not helping you to feel good, then it's not serving you. It's not serving anybody. So stop yourself thinking like that. Grab it. You know, that's that grabbing, being mentally tough, grabbing your thinking, muscling up, I call it, muscle up mentally, grab your thinking, shift it so it spirals your mood up here. Then the children will get better. You will be better prepared to think creatively, to get new ideas, to take this on, to step forward into it, because it doesn't serve the world for us to get through it badly. Like, it's not going to serve anybody to do that. So we can make a choice on how we do it, because it is what it is, and we're not going to and change it. This is the other great thing. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. He says that we
yep,
all have a circle of influence and we have a circle of concern. Most of us spend a lot of time in our circle of concern, that which we don't have influence over. And so if we're spending time there, we're not being empowered. You bring yourself back into your circle of influence. What can I control in this situation? I cannot control the virus right now. I can control the spread of it by staying at home and doing, what I need to do that's socially responsible. I can do that. I can control washing my hands. And isn't it interesting that first world countries suddenly need to learn how to wash their hands again? The foundations of good, health and cleanliness and hygiene. We're going back to the foundations of so much. And so I can control those things. I can't control right now that we're in lockdown. That's out of my control, we've been told. So what is in my control is how well I do this lockdown experience, how I reframe the experience, what I choose to get from the experience. That is in my control. And so let me play in that space. And I read another quote once, because I used to be a real worrier, and it said, if you can change what you were worrying about, then change it and stop worrying about it. Duh. And if you can't change what you're worrying about, then stop worrying about it, because you can't change it anyway. Hello. So that's empowering.
Absolutely. And I think, so I would certainly say to anyone, when your kids come up to you right now, you could stay up a bit later and do some work. And if you're going to be sitting on the phone with another 100,000 other people, and you're, 999 at, back of the queue, you might be sitting there for 5 hours. So would it not just be as much to stick that on speakerphone so you can just hear the twinkle music whilst you do a jigsaw puzzle, whilst you play hide, and give that child, your child, that moment where they won't feel anxious, where they're getting
and that's another great point, because we've been the leaders through this time. We are leading. We are. When I do leadership presentations to CEOs, I use a lot of my parenting stories, and I think we underestimate the power that we have in communities. We're leading our children right now through through one of their greatest challenges. This will be their big workout, one of their resilience workouts. And isn't it interesting that we've been saying, certainly in our country, that, our youth just aren't resilient anymore? Well, aren't they been given a big workout now on resilience? So it really is up to us how we coach now and how we lead our children through this. What language are we saying to them? How are we framing it up for them? Is this a fun time where they're seeing that there's benefits in all of this, or is it all doom and gloom talk? Because they will take on what we say. We are teaching them every day what we say, and what we say will determine how we move through our day. And so how are we saying these things? How are we framing it up for them? Are we saying things like, this is aren't we lucky that we all get to spend this much time together, and let's have some fun doing this today? Or is it, oh gosh, I don't know how we're going to be able to do this. What are they hearing? What are the conversations they're hearing between us and our husbands, wives, partners? Very important stuff of how we lead them through this crisis. And the language that we're using, so that they feel empowered too, that they know they've got this, that we can do this as a family unit, and we're going to have some fun along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a great little post yesterday that was sort of done as a adult grown up comes to parent with we're learning about the virus that happened all those years ago, and I don't remember much about it, Mum. What was it like? And Mum sort of answering, well, we had to stay in and we had to do that. And it was sort of written then as to, well, what do you remember? Well, I remember us playing, and I remember us baking, and I remember us reading books together. And actually what they'll remember from this time
was actually a nice time.
Yeah, because they got to have
your attention.
And so
that's right.
It's so important, I think, as we're going through this hardest part, because right now everything's up in the air. No one knows what's going to happen. Everyone's trying to get on the phone. Everyone's worried about their bills and their mortgages and the business and their employees and the clients and all these things.
It's
like
big.
you say,
we
can't control.
No. But it is that we're all in it together. And that was the other thing that, I think I said before, when I lost my husband, I felt so alone. And even though there are other people that had lost partners, and I know people have and will continue to, I didn't know anyone directly in that situation right then. And I just remember going to bed, and it is true. This is why you always got to be your own best friend. That I was going to bed. People could give their support. They could drop a meal off, and they could call me or whatever. But I still had to go to bed with it, and I had to wake up with it. And even though it is a bit like that, even though we're all in it together, we've all got different situations individually. So you still have to go to bed with it, wake up with it, but you're not alone. Like I'm here in Australia, and we are all in this together. So the whole world suddenly has been leveled and we're all in this together. Obviously at different extremes for all of us, financially and emotionally and physically and all of that. But still, are we all going to be on the street together? I mean, somehow we're all going to have to make our way through this. And people are here lining up at Centrelink's like we've never seen them before, which is our dole office, or, getting support from the government, like we've never seen before. My heart breaks for them. But I just know we have got this. Somehow we will get through this, and somehow we will get lessons from this, and we will have learnt things about ourselves and about each other and about our children. And, there will be gifts in it somewhere. There will, and it might be too early to say that for some people, it might feel a bit, but there will be gifts in it somewhere if we choose to find them and see them. I'm sure.
Absolutely. And I think, it's so important right now is to just, I see it as feeding my soul, and to just look for those little things of what can I do. And I said to you before we came on air that, our government stood there with we need volunteers. We need people to become part of our NHS family to support us as a country. And they asked for 250,000. At the moment, it's up at 500,000, and it's still going up. And I think it's so
wonderful.
important. Anything you can do that just feeds your soul and makes you feel proud and strong, and just those little things, whether it is, I mean, for me, I've taken part of my fence down in the garden because my next door neighbour is 89 years old. He is isolated. His family can no longer visit him, and I'm not going to have him on his own.
That's wonderful.
Past, and occasionally we'd invite him around for Sunday dinner, but we've not been close. But now,
isn't it interesting?
What I can.
Yep, and that's interesting. And this is what, Mother Nature, the universe, has a way. And, you would be aware that we had our bushfires this year. We feel like we've just been layered this year. We had our bushfires, we had flooding in North Queensland, and then we had the virus. But, always what we see is that we see a community coming out, and we see them banding together. Suddenly neighbours, in these bushfires and floods, neighbours that you never talk to, suddenly everyone is out offering a hand, what we can do to help, how can we support our community. And it's like it takes something like this, to show the best of us again. So, and sometimes it shows the worst of us. I don't know if you've had the toilet thing happening, the toilet paper thing, but geez, I don't know what's happened there. But everyone went a little bit mad for a while, I've got to tell you.
I think we saw you on the telly, not obviously you personally, but we
got
saw
you
the sort of madness. And so I don't know who started it first, but of course the news shared it, and everyone went, "Oh God, I better go and get some bog roll, quick! We need all of it."
And on that, let us not lose our sense of humour. And we talked about that before too. Yes. And it's one of the things I did a tour last year. I do these shows, and it was an adults only show, and it was all about humour. It was based on that. And I told some of my saddest stories, but with a humorous tone to them, because, I don't know how I would have got through what I've been through in my life and without humour. And I think that we became so politically correct that we've become so concerned about, am I allowed to laugh at that? I'm not sure I should laugh. Is that funny? I'm not sure it's funny. I don't think I should laugh at that. Oh, yeah, hang on, she's laughing. Maybe it's okay to laugh. And I'm all for political correctness, but not if it swings so far that we're not even sure if we can laugh anymore. Laughter is so good for the soul. Laughter is that balm for the soul. When we have been through a hard time and we laugh, it's soothing. It's so good for us. So we are allowed to find humour in the situations. And I love some of the memes on Facebook around the virus. And allow yourself the laughter. You're not discounting that it's big. You're not being disrespectful. You're allowed to laugh. It is good for us. Your soul needs it. Your immune system needs it. It boosts your immunity. Allow yourself to find the laughter. And thank God for social media, and in that case, that you can connect to some of that funniness that people have got. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's so important that when we laugh, we release particular messengers from the brain.
Oh, absolutely.
And those messages, especially things like dopamine, allows us actually to deal with pressure. So the more
Absolutely.
laughter that you have,
Yes.
the better equipped you are to be mentally
Absolutely.
strong
And
to
I
get
mean,
through this
that's
day.
right. And it's a practical thing. We've all been so tired that we've laughed hysterically at something we know is not funny, but we can't stop laughing at it. When we tell someone like we're laughing at it, they're going, it's not freaking funny. I'm just saying. But that's your body's way of going, I need something to laugh at. So something stupid happens and you start laughing and your body goes, oh, I feel better now. And you suddenly feel re-energized. You feel lighter. You feel brighter. You know, your next conversation will be one of your most authentic moments because laughter relaxes you back into who you are. You know, you are allowed to find the funny in all of this. We're allowed. You've got permission. So allow yourself to do that. It will serve you well. It will serve all of us well to do that. We will come out the other side, and
We
and I
will.
hope we can catch up after that, and that we'll be
Oh,
talking about how well
absolutely.
we've come out of it, and some of the learnings that we've got, some of the reflections that we've
Yes.
had. You know, how grateful we were that we got that chance of that time, and how yeah, that some of us lost maybe a lot of things economically, but how we grew stronger emotionally and mentally, and how much better, and we can gain that again. You know, we've got this. We can absorb our losses. We've got this, and especially as hairdressers, we
Absolutely.
have so got this.
Absolutely. And let's be honest, when this does finish, there is going to be a long queue, even if they are sort of
I know my
spaced
hair's
out.
going to be a
We're going to be
mess.
like,
We're all going to
oh
be.
my
I
God.
know. I got this
Well,
look
I've
already.
decided I saw a lady do a video and I just thought, oh, I love that. I'm gonna share it and I'm gonna join in with it. And it was to get rooted. So to get rooted is to not do anything at home,
Yeah.
leave it. Just
Yeah.
who cares that,
Who
my
cares?
hair and how my hair looks in the next
Oh my
3
gosh.
weeks, 3 months, it doesn't matter.
No, and once
But I
again,
want to
we've got bigger
support,
things to worry about. Yeah,
yeah,
but
and I
that's
want to
right, sport.
support my stylist. So
That's
I'm
right.
getting
They're going to some big
rooted,
work.
however or whatever it goes.
I
I'm
know.
not
I'm
sure how
going
much
to all
grey.
this white hair. I've got all this white hair that's coming through, but that's okay too. Look,
Yeah,
this is back to my
absolutely.
roots. It's all good.
And I think the other thing for me, I'm going to be doing, getting back to my roots.
Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
That's going to be the next song. um, we were talking earlier. If you haven't seen some of Julie's posts, Julie does like to. A Friday night tends to be a let's
The
get
dance.
some music on and let's dance. And I think everyone. I plead and call on you. Feed your soul by helping others.
Yeah.
Look for those moments where you go, you know what? That
And
it
what we
can
do for
wait.
others, we do for ourselves. What we give to others, I
Yeah.
give and I receive. When you do to others, you give
Yes.
to yourself. And when I respect myself,
Absolutely.
I want to help others. So absolutely, it will
Absolutely.
fill you up and it will put a smile on your face, and it makes a
Have those
difference in the
moments
world.
where you're allowing yourself to have fun and do things that lift your energy, because in doing that you will help your mind's health. And I think
Absolutely.
that at this moment that has got to be our priority, is just
Yes.
protecting our mind's health, because otherwise your
Yes.
brain is going to run away and you're going
Yep.
to get more and more stressed and you'll take it out on other people and you're going to
Yep.
feel depressed, anxious,
Absolutely.
afraid. And those feelings are okay as long as you can try and keep some
Yep.
control and
Yep.
talking
You
back
do
to
all
those
those feelings.
thoughts.
That's right. Do all those feelings. If you don't do your feelings, they'll do you. So you notice them, you sit with them, and then you go, okay, I see you've been, and now I want a better feeling place, so I'll shift my thinking.
Absolutely.
And you just said something that I was going to grab onto, but I lost it. Anyway, yes, but I agree
It will
with all
come
of
back
that.
in.
So
It will come
yeah,
back. But
it doesn't matter.
post something
Awesome,
that's
yeah.
post some stuff that's positive.
Yep.
Find your
And
favorite
don't get caught,
comedy sketch
that's right.
and
And my thing is that if I go to post something, I say, how will it serve my community posting this? Will it make anyone feel better? Does it actually do anything to contribute to lift the situation? If not, why am I posting it? If it's just contributing to the negativity of everything and rehashing negative scenes, then how's it serving anybody, actually?
yeah.
So, we can make empowered choices around that too.
Absolutely. And I think, as we come to the end of our life, it's so important that we just live in this moment. Right now,
This
all I
moment.
can do is talk to you. Right now, I know that my
Yep.
kids are upstairs and they're probably playing on computer games and so happy that
Yes.
I'm talking to you because I've allowed them to go on their computer games, and
Yeah,
they'll be
that's
hoping
right.
this
Yeah.
goes on for as long as possible, because once I'm off, then it'll be
Yeah, that's
finished.
right. Like, oh, it's just
Enjoy our moments that we
yeah,
have, and
absolutely.
find stuff to be grateful for, and just be kind to yourself, and then be
And all,
kind to
yeah, that's
others.
right. And all we've got is now, your time is a gift. And it really is. And that's what losing my husband really taught me too, is that all we ever know for sure is that we've got right now. None of us knows taking the virus out of the equation, none of us still know what's happening tomorrow. And
Yeah,
that's the truth of it. And yet we act like, time can be squandered. It can't. It is just such a gift that we've got the time that we've got right now. So let's just do that. Let's do that. That's doable. Let's just do the time that
absolutely.
we're in, go deep and go wide, and do that and control what we can control and breathe out on that. It was so nice to be
Absolutely.
with you all. Thank
And
you.
you. Any final words before we end?
Oh, look,
Oh, I think we've done
you
it.
are just, I think we've done it. And I just want you to know that you're all miracles. You're all amazing. The world needs you now more than ever to show up. And I call it to share your sparkle, the best of yourself, your unique personality, the unique you that you are, the gift that you bring to your neighbours, to your children, to each other, to your partners. Nobody moves through the world quite like you do. So, as I said, the world needs you now more than ever. So you look
Yeah,
after you, and so that that's the legacy we leave, is the best of ourselves. In the end, that's what we've come here to do, is just leave the best of ourselves. So let us go do that, and in that there's happiness, there's joy, and that's exactly what you deserve. It's been a pleasure to be with you all today. Thanks, Carol, for having me.
thank you so much, Judy. Please, everyone, stay safe. Wash your hands, stay home, do whatever it is that you can. And I'll be back with you next week. I think Carla Jones is our next guest, and then it is Claire Denya. And I can't think who's the following guest, but I'm sure we'll keep you posted.
And
Have a
I'll see you on the
wonderful
flip
day.
side.
Yes, absolutely. I will see you all soon. Take care and farewell from us
Bye.
both. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.